After a long time, our three countries met at the top level, at the summit level. It was a very important and efficient exchange of opinion, and we decided to have another meeting in the future. Today, I'm happy to welcome all of you to this unofficial meeting of our three countries, China, India, and Russia. As key global economies, it's very important that an exchange of opinions on global policy, security, and trade takes place. This trilateral meeting is a very important tool to discuss the situation and coordinate our positions on a number of issues on the global agenda. Our foreign ministers have had an exchange of views during a meeting in China in February this year. They discussed lots of issues, including combating terrorism, fighting tensions in hotspots, multilateral approaches to climate change, and boosting cooperation in the China, India, Russia format. Now I want Mr. Xi Jinping to comment. It's a great honor and pleasure to meet Mr. Putin and Mr. Modi at this unofficial meeting. I want to thank India for organization of this RIC meeting. In November, we had a very fruitful meeting in Buenos Aires, and now 7 months later, we are meeting again in Osaka. Russia, China, and India are developing countries with huge markets, and we are common in our solidarity and determination to cooperate. And I want this exchange of views on the economic situation and challenges we face to be fruitful and efficient. Thank you. Now I pass the floor to Mr. Putin. Mr. Prime Minister Modi, President Xi Jinping, common work as part of the RIC format is very fruitful and very useful for strengthening relations between our respective countries. It's an important contribution of our three countries to resolving pressing and acute international issues. According to the agreements we reached in Buenos Aires, cooperation within the RIC format has been activated. Trilateral foreign political coordination is growing. We've had a 16th round of consultations, a dialogue in the Security Council and in the financial area are developing. Our scientists, academicians, and representatives of youth are cooperating. Russia will host a young diplomat from RIC countries forum in autumn, and we invite you to take an active part in this forum. It's important that many issues on the international agenda are approached similarly by our countries. Our countries support the preservation of the international law and the UN principles. We support such principles as respect of sovereignty and non-interference in domestic affairs of countries. Russia, India, and China are working together to strengthen global stability, to counter terrorism, extremism, drug trafficking, and cyber crime. We are laying the groundwork for an infrastructure of indivisible security in Europe. Our approaches to the most important issues on the agenda of international organizations are very important. I'm talking about the United Nations, BRICS, the SCO, where Russia is presiding, and of course G20. Our countries support strengthening of authority of the World Trade Organization. We want this organization to retain its role as a universal regulator of global trade. Another important task is to support the actions of International Monetary Fund. Our cooperation within the RIC format can be a paragon of a modern and just multipolar world that denies sanctions and illegitimate actions. And to sum it up, I want to express gratitude to my colleagues and to Mr. Modi for organizing today's meeting. Thank you so much. I thank Mr. Putin, and I want now the press to abandon this meeting hall.